The 2026 Mazda 3 represents what could be the final strong stand of the premium compact sedan in a rapidly changing automotive world. The car market of 2026 feels less like a place of calm evolution and more like an active battlefield where the traditional four-door sedan is fighting for survival. Everywhere you look, the story is the same. Affordable small cars are disappearing. Headlines focus on the end of an era, not its continuation. One of the clearest examples is the American market preparing to say goodbye to its last true subcompact sedan as Nissan plans to end production of the Versa in 2026. This shift says a lot about where the industry is heading. Manufacturers are moving fast and aggressively toward crossovers, SUVs, and electrified platforms, often leaving traditional sedans behind without much hesitation. Against this backdrop, the arrival of the 2026 Mazda 3 feels different. This is not just another yearly update or a quiet refresh designed to maintain sales. It feels like a statement, almost an act of resistance. Mazda is clearly saying that there is still value in a well-designed, driver-focused compact sedan. For years, the Mazda 3 has lived in a unique and sometimes lonely position within the market. It has always offered more refinement and design flair than practical choices like the Honda Civic, while avoiding the cold, overly clinical feel often associated with entry-level luxury models such as the Audi A3. This balance allowed the Mazda 3 to attract buyers who wanted something more emotional and engaging without stepping fully into luxury pricing. Now, Mazda finds itself at an important crossroads. The brand has publicly committed to rebuilding and strengthening its premium engineering reputation. This push became especially important after criticism surrounding the rushed development and execution of certain newer models like the CX-60. The 2026 Mazda 3 becomes a critical test of that ambition. It raises an important question. Can a compact sedan still excite buyers in a market obsessed with ride height, big screens, and cargo space? Or is Mazda's dedication to the driving experience simply a beautiful idea that no longer fits the times? This vehicle is more than just a car review. It is an examination of whether the spirit of the enthusiast-focused compact sedan can survive the pressures of the mid-decade automotive shift. Mazda's design philosophy plays a major role in this discussion. The 2026 Mazda 3 continues to use the brand's Kodo soul of motion language, but it does so with greater maturity and restraint. While many competitors rely heavily on sharp angles, fake vents, oversized grilles, and aggressive plastic cladding to grab attention, Mazda takes the opposite approach. The design philosophy remains rooted in simplicity and elegance. The shape of the Mazda 3 is still one of the most visually striking in its class. The long hood, the smooth body surfaces, and the cab backward proportions create a silhouette that recalls rear-wheel drive luxury sedans, even though this is a compact, front-drive-based platform. For 2026, the updates are subtle but meaningful. Revised LED lighting signatures give the car a sharper and more confident presence, while refinements to paint finishes, especially the deeper and more iridescent version of Soul Red Metallic, push the Mazda 3 closer to premium territory. It is the kind of design that does not scream for attention, but rewards those who look closely. In a segment where many cars begin to blend together, the Mazda 3 remains instantly recognizable. Step inside the cabin, and Mazda's premium push becomes even more obvious. This is where the company has clearly invested time and resources. Past criticisms of occasional rattles, squeaks, and inconsistent material quality, especially in models like the CX-70, appear to have been taken seriously. Mazda has reportedly increased focus on sound insulation and build precision for the 2026 Mazda 3. The goal is clear: They want the interior to feel solid, quiet, and intentionally designed. Every surface you interact with is meant to feel considered. The climate control knobs have a satisfying resistance. The steering wheel feels thick, well-wrapped, and comfortable in the hands. Materials are selected to create a sense of calm and focus rather than visual overload. The result is a cabin that feels closer to European luxury brands than most mainstream competitors. Mazda continues to follow its human-centric design approach, placing controls where they make sense rather than where they simply look impressive. One of the most debated choices remains Mazda's infotainment strategy. While many automakers are moving toward massive touchscreens that dominate the dashboard, Mazda continues to rely on a rotary controller system. In 2026, this decision may feel outdated to some buyers. However, for those who value reduced distraction and better driving focus, it remains a smart solution. The system allows drivers to keep their eyes closer to the road, reinforcing Mazda's philosophy that the car should serve the driver, not compete for their attention. That said, not every compromise can be avoided. The rear seats of the Mazda 3 remain one of its weakest points. The sleek roofline and narrow greenhouse create a back seat that feels more confined than rivals like the Toyota Corolla or Hyundai Elantra. For buyers who regularly carry adult passengers in the rear, this remains a practical limitation. Under the hood, the most meaningful changes for 2026 begin to take shape. While many automakers are abandoning internal combustion engines entirely, Mazda has chosen a different path. The brand continues to explore right-sized engines and hybrid solutions rather than full electrification for this segment. The 2026 Mazda 3 is expected to benefit from a refined version of Mazda's mild hybrid or possibly full hybrid system seen in newer SUVs. This approach aligns with Mazda's long-standing belief that efficiency, responsiveness, and driver feel matter just as much as raw performance figures. On the road, driving dynamics remain the Mazda 3-second strongest argument. Mazda's Jinba Ittai philosophy, which describes the harmony between horse and rider, is clearly present. Steering weight feels natural. Brake response is linear and predictable. The chassis communicates clearly with the driver, making the car feel alive even at everyday speeds. While it may not offer the straight-line acceleration of high-performance models, the way the Mazda 3 moves through corners feels organic and confidence-inspiring. In a world filled with tall crossovers that feel isolated and numb, the Mazda 3 offers a refreshing sense of connection. Mazda understands that for a sedan to survive in 2026, it must offer something an SUV cannot. Driving engagement becomes the key selling point. This philosophy puts the Mazda 3 in a risky but meaningful position within the market. The automotive landscape is increasingly divided. On one side, there are extreme performance machines like the Hyundai Ioniq 5N or the Porsche 911 GT3. On the other, there is a flood of aggressively priced Chinese vehicles, such as the Chery Tiggo 4 and BYD Sea Lion, which place immense pressure on established brands. Mazda is choosing to fight in the space of value-based premium design. This strategy assumes there is still a group of buyers who want elegance, quality, and engagement without paying ultra-luxury prices. As electric vehicles sit longer on dealer lots and economic uncertainty grows, many consumers are forced to choose between the cheapest transportation available or the most versatile SUV. Mazda believes there is room for a third option. Technology and safety in the 2026 Mazda 3 follow a similar philosophy of refinement rather than excess. Mazda has taken safety seriously, especially as some competitors struggle with inconsistent results. The updated iActiveSense suite includes improved lane-keeping assistance and a more advanced driver monitoring system. Rather than attempting full autonomy, Mazda systems act as support tools, not replacements for the driver. This measured approach stands in contrast to the bold but often controversial self-driving ambitions seen elsewhere. In the end, the 2026 Mazda 3 is a car full of contrasts. It is a traditional sedan in an SUV-dominated world. It is a driver-focused machine in a time defined by digital distraction. It offers premium engineering at a price that remains accessible. It is not flawless. Rear visibility is still limited, and pricing edges closer to luxury territory. But as more sedans disappear from the market, the Mazda 3 stands as a reminder that driving pleasure still matters. This is a car for people who enjoy the simple act of driving, for those who look back at their car after parking it, for buyers who believe elegance and engagement should not be reserved only for the ultra-wealthy. In a year when automotive icons quietly fade away, the Mazda 3 remains a symbol of what compact sedans once stood for and what they still can be.